on YouTube. And it looks like we're now on YouTube, and we're going to do the same thing for our friends on Facebook friends, as we also are now live on Facebook. So we have our Facebook friends, we have our YouTube friends, and now we have also our teleconference friends, and those who are also our family doing this family reunion, Israel family, from March of 2023 until March of 2024. And if we are still being who they are, our is coming to complete his fulfillment of prophecy and destroy this world, then we get another sign that says Israel Family Reunion from March 2024 until March of 2025. But in my soul, I doubt very seriously if we're ever going to have to do that, especially the way things are going. I'm going to reveal to all of you today why that is so close. That's based on a prophecy that I prophesied way back in the mid 2015 or 16. In the meantime, we're going to welcome those. We're going to say shalom and lechem to those who have joined us and have decided to be with us today. Shalom and lechem from Shalom.
Alaikum salam.
And as you can hear in the background, I may be by myself, but I'm not alone. I am your host of this very important and really an unscheduled on our agenda message testimony. For the sake of when this is being recorded, this testimony is being given to this planet. We are on our third day. We're on our third day of observing the first ever during the time of this world, of this jubilee, the feast of leavened bread, as we recognized on this past Friday, which was known by their calendar as March 10th, 2023, our first ever passed over. Passed over. That means we already passed over Egypt. And we also passed over the United States of America as my continues to pass over this country. And it doesn't matter if it's at night that you can see the lights, or if it's during the day where you can see the mites. You say he might be there. No, he's there. And he's passing over. You can look at the deaths that's going on now, the catastrophic destruction that's going on now, not only in the United States and California, East and West Coast. They in the East Coast, they're saying now they have some kind of nausea or whatever they call it, tearing up the north with snow and blizzard and ice and wind, a nor'easter. And as I promised that I would back in August of last year, on that calendar, 2022, when we visited Los Angeles, California. When we visited that city and state, California, I made a promise that when we leave, destruction and hell is going to ensue and deaths. If you go to my timeline, I try to repost it. I said in my timeline that when I leave, I'm going to take a tenth of the state away. I didn't say that a tenth of Los Angeles, and that has nothing to do with the earthquake. The earthquake hadn't even come yet. What we're doing is we're clearing out some roadway for the earthquake to take over. We're washing everything down. See, we're washing things down and making clean. We're cleaning up the whole state of California first with the water and the floods. You don't get to go out at night on Friday night, Saturday night when you go clubbing and you don't take a shower. At least I hope you take a shower and clean up before you go out among the people and smoke all kind of stuff in the bars and lounges, go to parties and drink. You wash, don't you take a shower? You wash up and take a bath, women, and clean yourself up before the grand finale. Well, who do you think my father is? He created all of that. So what he's doing is, or what we're doing is, I'm part of it because I'm the one that's holding the plagues, the seven plagues, the last final. I'm the one holding them. I'm going to introduce more of me to you today. For those who don't know, I'm holding the seven vials of seven angels in my hand. I'm also controlling Revelation chapter 11 verse 6. These are plagues, and at my call to my call, I bring as many plagues as often as I will upon this planet, not the United States. I'm not focused on the United States. This is my planet. And the devil is going to be cast off of the whole planet and his angels with him. It's like, get off of my planet. If a young fella by the name of Harrison Ford can be a star in a movie they call Hangar, or actually Air Force One, and toward the end of that movie, when he tell this character, the villain, to get off of my plane, well, I'm telling all the villains who was Satan and Satan himself who's watching this, get off of my planet. And if you need help to get off of it, then I'm here to help you to get off of my planet. And my angels are here with me, but you know who they are because you have NORAD watching them and trying to catch up with them. Right, NORAD? NORAD and NOAD. I'm going to get to the ad in a minute. We have some people that added on the prophets that warned about to in Revelation chapter 21. Actually, maybe chapter 22. Chapter 21 is another subject we're going to discuss in a few moments. But as I was saying, this be recorded during our feast now, feast of leavened bread. And Passover is over. Passover is over. That was one night. It's passed over. And pretty soon it's going to be without the past. See, that was passed over. That's done. The next step up is over. It's over. But right now, we're still feasting on leavened bread, and this is part of it. This is the third day. At sundown would be the fourth day. And for your calendar, those who mess with the clocks this past Sunday, at 1 o'clock in the morning, they control their clocks that they made. They first made in Switzerland. It's called the Swiss watch, the Swiss clock. You can control your clocks, but you cannot control the time. And by doing so, this is still recognized as the 13th day of March. March 13th, 2023 of their calendar. And yet it's still the third day of the first people, some children of my father, my Arb, who took it upon themselves to add on. And as I mentioned a moment ago, you were not to add on anything of this prophecy. I'm going to show you that. Not only did they add on a year, but they added on to certain recordings that he made on video. And they were told not to do so. I'm going to point them out to you. And that's why many of my people are confused. And I said, let no man deceive you. And if it were possible, they would even deceive the very elect. If it were possible. but that is impossible. They cannot deceive the very elect. Most of the elect are here with me now, and they are obedient. They drove down from states, not cities. And we have someone in here now that drove down from one state or to a few, as far as the state called Tennessee. Although they couldn't bring 10 with them, they still came to see from the state that's called Tennessee. But they still brought with them Wob, and the number value of Wob, actually Yod. The number value of Yod, they brought with them Yod in their heart and soul. They brought Yod. Now that value is 10. So in a way, they still brought 10 Tennessee. SEE. And I'm looking at some around me right now in this kingdom. I'm going to explain why it's a kingdom. It's not a house. Some drove down as far south of Tennessee as Georgia, the state. And they're here with me now as a result of obedience. The OB, and the D. Obedience. Obedience. They're here with me. And right here in the state called Florida, they drove down from as far west as Fort Myers. And he's here with me, and they were here with my op too. And then we have one that decided not to drive in Tennessee. That's why it's nothing new. Because he flew down from New York, the state. New York. And if my mind serves me right, which always does, he is not flying back. He's not coming off the rooftop to go back and get nothing at the house. Why? Because he is the house. So you don't know of that because yesterday we didn't share with you our daily leavened bread. But by commandment, and I was not going to share this with those who are not obedient to be here in the flesh with me. That's why you should be happy right now that I'm not in charge. I'm here finishing mine works, mine, M-I-N-E. There's no such thing as my works. I'm finishing works that are mine, M-I-N-E. But I'm still also doing the will of my Father. I'm doing His will. And by me coming on today, unscheduled by my agenda, this is His schedule on His agenda. I'm here obeying His commandment because I have a very important message to speak those on Facebook. I'm not speaking to those who may be watching YouTube, and I'm not speaking to those who may be watching or listening to our teleconference line, if you know that number. I'm speaking to this planet that's going to be shared by those 3 social media websites. It's going to be shared. Whether those who can see but cannot hear, that you can read on the CC, the closed caption, you should read it. And I'm going to speak nice and clear so that the robot can pick up every word that I'm speaking. And for those who can see but they cannot hear, then you listen to the sound of my voice, that even the dead can hear the sound of my voice. So with that said, again, for the sake of the recording, this is now the 3rd day of the 1st month of our solar Hebrew calendar of the solar year from Cain's rulership of 6026. It is also recognized by the Gregorian calendar as Monday, March 13th, 2023. With that said, if you're going to continue to join us, even if you're on your lunch break and you put a Bible in your desk drawer, you grab your Bible, in other words, and grab something to write with and something to write on. that you could take notes and you don't miss this. You don't want to miss what's about to be revealed and shared. I'm here. It was promised by my father in 1986. It was promised as he made a recording. He didn't make that recording. He was in an interview. They recorded it. A few scribes from New York Time magazine. Now you must comprehend, and those who don't want to comprehend, at least understand what I'm about to share and reveal. If you choose to continue to stand in the Satan and the devil, then do that. But those who want to come, that's comprehend, that's already preordained for you. Comprehend, it's already ordained, prepared. Then please comprehend these words. They came to interview him from New York. They recorded that interview. He spoke to them in his private chambers at international headquarters here in Miami of Florida, where he came to show. He chose Miami, Florida, for a reason, prophetical, to place his name here. And they didn't know and still do not know what his ineffable name is. But he came to fulfill prophecy of the name here, Miami of Florida. Now, for those who did not know, and those who did know and do know, I'm going to remind those who do know, and I'm going to introduce those who do not know, that in this country called the United States of America, this de facto means laws put together by themselves. They are laws that do not stand. They are de facto. They got all their laws anyway from Hammurabi. They got their laws actually from England, from Great Britain. Every law here in this country, except the amendments that they made in 1776, they got the laws from Great Britain. They're called capital laws. And some states adopted them as well because they have to, according to their courts. They're called state laws that come from the federal law. For example, murder. You have capital murder, you have third-degree murder. So what they did was they adopted laws from Great Britain to create a de facto government. But Great Britain, the Queen and the kings of England, got it from Hammurabi, who was the first Babylonian king of Babylon, Hammurabi. He stole those laws from the Hebrew Israelites, from Moshe. But he didn't get all of them. See, there are 613 statutes, judgments, laws, commandments of Hebrew Israelites. 613. Yeah. Hammurabi only took about 210 at the most. Those that they want to use in their government that are still de facto. We are the only nation of people that has laws. And I should know because I'm shallow. My father told me to come on today and reveal to you who I am, whether you want to accept it or not. And I'm also going to share with you and tell you, for those who do not know, who he is, not was, who he is. It was promised that I'm the one who spoke to Yaakov, to Israel. I changed his name from Yaakov. He wrestled with me, and that was not physical. This was not a WWW wrestling match or WWF, whatever they call it. He wrestled with me in his mind. He did not want to amount or believe nothing that I was saying. He kept wrestling. I'm telling him to come back with you and do what you're supposed to keep the covenant going that your grandfather was given. And kept it there on the end. Mem Sophie. Why? So I can tell you this at the end. Mem Sophie and Smek, they're two Hebrew symbols that are closed and they were not open. Smek, which gives the S sound for sun, and Mem Sophie, that's a closed gate that no one could open. And you find Mem Sophie at the end of most words in the book because these words were reserved for the end. And when a gate closes, those two gates closes, that's it. So, and when you look at the concordance under Mem, the 4700 series, you'll find that there are more words in the Bible that begin with Mem than any word in the Bible. There are more pages under Mem of the concordance than anyone. I told you to get your concordance. You can look at that on your own, but you'll find that about 12 pages of Mem in the concordance. But I told Yaakov to tell his sons, gather them together, Israel, 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 Yahweh, that and tell them what's going to befall them. But it was not them per se that were going to be here. It would be their names that would be used of prophecy. And that's why when you look at Genesis chapter 49 and verse 11, you'll find that there's some grapes of blood, the blood of grapes. That's coming from Micah chapter 7, verse 1, of the grape gleanings of the vintage. The grape gleanings of the vintage, there's no cluster to eat. You're not going to go to it. And here we are today in the last days with Judah, beginning at verse 8 of Genesis chapter 49, and Shiloh here in verse 10, the lawgiver. And also everyone here in with me, you cannot see them, but we're going to take a group shot before it's over. You're going to see all those with me dressed in purple, the grapes. I'm looking at the blood of the grapes, and I told Yaakov, Israel, that he will be seeing the last days in verse 11. We're going to do that. We're going to take a group shot to show them. Everyone dressed in grapes. That will remind me to say, wow, you still wearing white, those who of your other camp. So you have your own camp. You do what you think is right in your own eyes. But I am come, and my father came here to Miami for me to establish the kingdom of Shalom. And as I was saying, and you may not know, there are 11 states in this country that has a city or a town or a village that's named Miami. And the most popular one that you may know outside of Miami, Florida, is Miami of Ohio. But there are 11 other states, including the state called Oklahoma, where he came out of the gate in Kingfisher on Sunday, October 27th, 1935, according to that calendar. He came out of the gate in Kingfisher, Oklahoma. The king came out fishing with the axe, the state that's shaped like a hatchet, on Sunday. It was a Sunday, October 27th, 1935, according to that calendar. According to our calendar, it is the 15th day of the 8th month, 5938 of our calendar. Each number represents prophecy and power. Even with 8, that means infinity, no beginning, no end, on the third day. And that's why you heard him say his voice in those programs that they had, the Universe of Yahweh, in the 90s, when he said, remember that this is born the third day, and I shall rise again. No doubt about it. Right? Luke chapter 3 or whatever, right? So now we're still in the third day. Why? The 3 with the 59 and the 8 of the year he came out. He came down. See, he came down. Now we're not going to go in. I'm going to do what he say do. You cannot hear him speaking to me because you don't have my mind. See, if you had my mind, then you'll be here with me. If you had my mind, you'll be obedient. You'll be here with me. But they didn't have my mind then. They don't have it now. And you're going to hear him say, those who want to be saved will be saved. The only ones that do not want to be saved are those that don't want to be saved. You don't know why he left this planet and ascended back up on May 7th, 2007. He went back up to finish his works. You thought his works were finished here. These are my works. Mine works. These were secrets that I was not supposed to tell back then. I can tell them now because it's not going to happen again. You cannot crucify me or kill me in my shorts anymore because now the short is already shortened. The days, I shortened the days. And now I'm wearing a long garment down to my foot. And girt about the paps with a golden girdle. And I'm looking at the paps. You thought those paps were physical. They're not. They're celestial. They're human flesh, paps. And they're being girded with a golden girdle. All revelation. And something else you may not know that I'm going to tell you now that you need to know. And then we're going to hear something. I am the one that has the keys to hell and death. And I pray you can hear me. And if you cannot, I'm going to pray to my Ab, who art above in New Jerusalem, where he's living, to open up your mind and your ears so you can hear what I'm saying. I am the one that has the keys. There's 2 keys in chapter 1. Powers I have with those keys to unlock and let hell out and to shut hell up. I let hell out to grab all of those who want to be in hell. You hear me? Okay. I am the one who let hell out to go get all the devils that want to commit hell. That's why I put a sign on the gate. Now, hell is not allowed to come in this gate. That's why I put a sign on the gate to let you know what you're entering into. You got it? What you're entering into New Jerusalem. Well, Jerusalem, not New Jerusalem. Jerusalem. Got it? Because New Jerusalem's up here. That's why my prayer in Matthew chapter 6 said, let thy will be done in earth, not on the planet, in earth. I'm earth, in earth, my mind. So I created a Jerusalem here in my mind, from my mind. You got to come in to see it.
Right.
See, I like Father, like Son.
Mm-hmm.
I created Jerusalem here on the planet. And it was new. Because no one has ever done that before. You have to come here to see that for yourself. No one has ever did on this planet what I done from here, the earth. You tell me, you show me someone else who can take a dryer made out of a kitchen sink with running water in the faucet, and that's both cold and hot water.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
In a backyard. Or who can create a mansion in the backyard in a tree with running toilets, a running toilet. 2 toilets was up in the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
One in a private room for the builder who was handicapped. And then one on the other side of the same tree that you walk upstairs and made out of wood for the men. And a sink there to wash your hands with the drains coming out of the tree and going to the sewer pipes that connect to the Miami-Dade County. Can you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A beauty salon, unisex, for men and women, with running water coming through the wood that's made out of waffle board that was built by one man with one arm, with lights and a television for those who are waiting to get their hair done can sit while one sitting in a chair, a barber chair, and watch television while waiting. And while switch the channel to security and see who's at the door while it's locked. And that's one of my appointments. Let them in. Come in, have a seat, you after him, and sit down and watch television while you're waiting. And nice and cool because an air conditioner was in there too.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to read something, there's a Bible. Grab your Bible and read the Bible while you're waiting. If you don't want to watch television, let your will be done in earth as it is in your city of Jerusalem above, to make his own water plant in a yard with his own pump station. Instead of wasting the water of the God of Mem, the God of Mem, Mem is the God of water, Mem. So grab a few washing machines to keep the Hebrew Israelites washed and clean, the garments.
Mm-hmm.
Because during that time, there's a pandemic and no one wants to go to a public laundromat to catch what they thought was a virus.
Yeah.
It was it's a plague. And I didn't tell it to go anywhere. So if you think what they call is not COVID, it's not even Ovid. It's called plague. It's called the third angel that poured his vial upon the earth and the sun. So when I made the wash stations and bought washing machines out of my pocket and dryers and placed 3 different wash stations in this property. So instead of wasting the water in a drain to go into the sewer line of the county, I created my own hoses from the washing machines when they rinse, when they after they wash and rinse the water to go through the pipe and into 3 tanks, 300-gallon times 3 tanks. That the water from the washing machine will go into those tanks, recycle themselves, and come through another pipe that's coming from those tanks to go into the drains for the toilet, to flush the toilets. Then I'm done with you. You can go into the sewer where you belong, the dirty water.
Mm-hmm.
So that, with that, since I did that, I was able to reduce my 2,000 a month water bill to water bill. That's when you get your water bill here by Bade County every 3 months. Then we also have generators in case they decided to cut off the power. They did, and we had our own generators. After I came to in compliance with what they said they want on my planet. Can you imagine? They came here in front of my door and told me what they want on my planet that they got from Hammurabi. And because I'm moral in who I am, see, I don't have no ego. I don't have an ego. I'm not conceited, and I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'm doing what I'm told to do, and I have to introduce myself and tell you who I am. That way, you can't say I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I thought he was Mika. I thought he was the one that Yahweh ben Yahweh threw out the temple. You know, I told you that it was Mika who Yahweh ben Yahweh threw out the temple. How could he come back today and say who he is? But I'm not. See, that's the mistake you're making. The mistake you made is you think I'm coming back to say who I am. And yet, you was in my father's face after he sent me out into the wilderness, according to prophecy, out into the wilderness. He sent me out into the wilderness, not out the temple. He cannot throw me out the temple or the tabernacle because I'm also the tabernacle. He told all of those who were with him in their faces, even on his podium, who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But that was until after he told them who he is. He told them who were around him in the temple who he is first.
Right.
And at the same time, he was telling them who I am second. That way, he fulfilled Ezekiel chapter 34 and came up with both.
Mm-hmm.
He also fulfilled Micah chapter 5 and verse 8 and came with both. But they thought he was speaking of Yahweh, but Yahweh, and even there you have both. That's why he said that. He said, my name is Yahweh ben Yahweh. But the mistake you made is that he didn't say mine name. He said my name. And another mistake you made a lot of mistakes. Another mistake that you made is that you did not study as he told you to study. Had you did, you would study the M and the Y of England. Had you studied the M and the Y, then you would know that he's Yahweh and I'm Micah. And you came up with my. Not realizing that if you studied my, then you would realize that the Greeks even told you that my is a part of. Well, you don't know that. I have to show you that. Because we want to get to the recordings. I'm going to show you the mistakes you made. He would tell you in your face. He even told those privately in the headquarters that day. 1986, private. It was a private interview. Now it's international. It's on YouTube. Privately, he told them, I'm the Messiah in the Old Testament and the New Testament. Why? Because you're protecting the one he sent out into the wilderness. He gave himself up before he gave me up. And I gave myself up before I gave him up. You didn't know that. Because the same federal agents, FBI, that came and got him in New Orleans, Louisiana on November 7, 1990, came to the house where I was residing after he sent me out to the wilderness and wanted me to give him up. But you didn't know that. See, that's another secret. And I'm now, after 2,000 years, after my return, after 2,000 years, now I can tell the secret. And one of them name was Cousins, but he was not my cousin. And came to my house after someone sent, not it wasn't my house, sent him to the house where I was residing and living because I'm law enforcement. And they knew that. They have my folder in Washington, D.C. They have it now. So after they had my folder came looking for me at the temple, somebody put him to the side and said, I know where he is. Don't tell nobody. Here's his address. I know who he is. I have his daughter. I said, this is his daughter right here. I know who he is because I spoke to him. So your daughter wanted to see you. He's at his mother's house. Here's the address. Next thing I know, ding dong, the bell. The woman went to the door. I heard the voice. I'm in the back. I heard the voice. Who are you? Took out ID, FBI. FBI. Oh, being who she is, a widow. She was a widow. Why do you think he wrote a book that's titled The Widow's Son Raised? Who you thought he was speaking to him? He's not a widow. He's God. How could God be a widow's son? Can you imagine? I mean, let's be real. God with a mama. See, if God had a mama, then that would allow the women today who wants to be God to continue to be God because they would be his mother. I don't know who told a woman that she can have a summit in Miami and be a mama and a God. And those who are and they move from Florida and go to Georgia and now they want to be a king or a queen and be God too. And then they want to deliver Judah back to their homeland. I will show me that in the Bible. You have a Bible? Anybody have a Bible? Show me in the Bible where a woman's going to deliver Judah back to their own land. Start with Genesis in the beginning, and then get to Jeremiah 23 and show me in there where he said he's going to use a woman to do that. Who in hell told you to do that? I say hell. Who in hell told these women to get my people, invite them to come to their goddamn hell and teach them things that they don't know nothing of, and hold a summit, and then after the summit, take pictures and selfies and say we had a good time wearing white, and you have no idea why you're wearing white. I'm just saying.
Yes, sir.
You want to know why he said kiss the son? And it's, so you think, how could my father be the son? Where is the one who you call Yahweh ben Yahweh today? Then where is he? If you say he's in the desert, my soul told you not to believe that. Or if it's in the secret chambers, my soul told you not to believe it. Or some other place. I said don't believe it. But you don't know it's me. I'm going to prove to you it's me. Because I come in my father's name, my, M-Y, which is of his name. Why? Because he named me. That's his name. That's John 5:43. You can read it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
I am come in my father's name, and you receive me not. Why? Because he named me. It's his name. It's not mine name. It's not mine, M-I-N-E name. It's my name. You got to study mine. Go to it so you can know. They lost. Go to the concordance. And let me prove it. Go to the concordance. I can't see it. I'm still on the keys. I'm on the keys. I ain't get to the key yet. See, David's here too. That's why he's here, Dowd. I have the key of Dowd too. That means I have three keys. I have the keys of hell, of death, and the key of David. On the third day, that's why it's in Revelation chapter 3. You got a search box? Type in my. All right? Now watch this. Type in my. And by the way, we're inviting you. See, usually we don't put this on recording. But my op say he want this seed. He want this on recording. Because remember, Noah went around for 120 days, 120 years. Right?
Yeah.
Noah was warning the people for 120 years to stop it. Repent. 120 years. I returned, I said it on camera, I said it off camera. I returned from the Bahamas after 9 years, was complete. I returned on January 7th, 2007, from the Bahamas, which is exactly 120 days before he ascended on May 7th, 2007. Do your math. That was another sign, simile, of 120 years, 120 days. And here it is. My soul left as it was in the days of Noah. So shall it be when the coming of the Son of Man be. I am B. He's A. You're going to hear that too. 120. I said as it was in the days of Noah. Now you're reading in English. I said in Hebraic. They recorded in Hebraic. Now you're reading. Listen to the Bible now. King James Version. You have the verse. You put my. You put my. Type in MY. And let me reveal to you that you did not study this. How many times does it appear? Over 4,000 what? How many times it appears? See, I studied. That's how I know. How many times?
4,367 times.
4,367 times. Now here's some news you didn't know. It exists in Hebrew by characters, which is Mem Yod. You got it? Mem Yod. That's H4310. Type. Go to another. You have one. Type in H4310 in the same box. H4310. That's me. But I'm not mine. I am me. See, Mika, not Micah. But that's what they say. Every time someone say, "Well, my ID, my identification is in Mika Israel."
Yeah, they do say
My driver's license, passport, everything's in Mika Israel. Legally changed according to de facto government. De facto, legally changed. I'm legal. I'm the law. I do nothing illegal. I do nothing unrighteous, immoral, or wicked. Nothing. How am I to set an example and tell you to take up your cross and follow me if I'm wicked? So if I'm wicked, then you should be wicked too. What I told you, if I rob a bank, you got to rob the bank too. Then I said, I rob a bank, you got to go to the same bank, you got to go to the same teller, you got to use the same gun or whatever you use as a weapon. It's got to be the same day, the same hour, the same year. You got to use the same car. You got to run the same way I do it running from the bank. You got to run the same way. And you have to get the same amount of money. If the teller tells you, he or she tells you only have $15 and that's all you get, $15. You don't get 16. You got to, and if you get caught, you got to get caught by the same police and be handcuffed by the same handcuffs. And you got to go to the same jail, sit in the same cell, and wait for the same date of your arraignment for court, and sit in front of the same judge and be sentenced with the same sentence that I get. You got to follow me. I say, take up your cross and follow me. And let the dead bury their dead. What do you have? H4310. You have Mem Yo.
Yeah.
And how you pronounce it?
Lee.
Let the robot tell him. Click on the robot. They got robots doing these things for us today.
Strong's H4310. Me.
That's me.
Me.
Me. Mem Yo. He didn't say my, did he? But maybe that's in 4311. You think maybe it's in 4311? Check H4311. See if we got my. Should be right there. I'm not looking. I already looked. That's it. You're supposed to study. Instead of study, you stuttering. You listen to what other people are saying. You following what they're doing. You have H4311?
Nah, it's not. The etymology is 4100.
What's 4100? It's 4311? What do you have? Etymology. Those who have your own concordance at the house who are watching, you could be looking too. We see those who don't have one, we let you use and borrow ours that we have. A big plasma television. Huh? What's robot? What's that say?
Strong's H4100. Bemo.
How you get that?
Bemo.
What?
That's the
Second entry.
Huh?
Ma. Ma.
Now you call ma.
Third entry.
You got three.
Ma.
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 So it's either ma, or
Fourth entry.
four.
Ma.
We still ain't get there.
Ma.
The robot.
Fifth entry.
Now you got five.
Ma.
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 Sound like a song.
Seventh entry.
Seven.
Ma.
We go right back to ma. That's it? You ain't got no papa? You got mom, papa, no pa. You got mama, 7 entries. 7. 7 angels, each one of them being called by something different. 7. And ma. I haven't heard ma yet. So what are they revealing to you? What are they revealing? What's your concordance revealing? What it's revealing is that there's no such word in Hebrew that would give you a sound of ma.
Wow.
There is no ma. So when my father said my name, you had no idea what he was saying. Every time he said my, it didn't exist. But when he said me, he was speaking of me. But when he was speaking of himself, he would say Yahweh. And you would say it, you wouldn't hear it. Every time he said Yahweh, he was speaking of himself in English. That's why sometimes you hear him say like me, Yahweh.
Yes. Yeah. Let that out.
And you hear what? Did you hear what I said? You got to hear. Not here, here. Here. Ma does not exist in Hebrew. Why? Because ma is of me. Of Ma'ab, my father. It says of. My is of my father. That's why I say I come in my father's name. See, I come in my father's name, and you see me not. Now, before you reveal that, now you can look at all 4,367
367.
times. Now, some of that time got to be in the Old Testament, and you should have a lot of columns up there. Go back to it. You see a whole bunch of columns for my, right? Starting from Genesis, all the way to Malachi, my. And you're not going to come up with one reference under my in the Old Testament. What you're going to come to is like my place,
Mm-hmm.
my son, but then it's going to give you the noun, the English noun that the my is supporting. See, my is not a noun. My is an adjective that's supporting a noun. So when you come to my place or my time or my whatever, my is a supported. It's support. Remember, here we are again with support,
Mm-hmm.
and that's throughout the Old Testament, all of them, all the books. And the minute you get to the New Testament, to Matthew, you're going to find a reference that the Greeks gave you for my to let you know what my means in the Old Testament. They reveal it, but they won't let you see it in the Old Testament because they don't want you to know who my father is.
Oh, in Psalms, we did the
You're not
first
going to
Psalm.
find it.
Mm-hmm.
You can check all of those from Genesis, but you're not going to find it. You're not going to find a reference like somebody. You come with my and a noun. Now go to Matthew. Go to Matthew chapter, the first chapter of Matthew. Go to John chapter 5 and look at verse 43. It is. See, uh, the Father, he's not doing the judging.
Mm-hmm.
Mine gave all judgment to the Son.
Yeah.
Who? Shallow.
Mm-hmm.
That's who the judge is. And right now, you don't realize you're being judged. Everyone on this planet right now is being judged, and I'm separating the sheep from the goat. I'm putting the sheep on my right hand, and the goats are on the left hand. Why? Because all of those who are with me are right. And although there's no cluster to eat, that's who my soul desired, the first ripe fruit. That's who my soul desired,
Mm-hmm.
the first ripe fruit. And they're all right now wearing grapes.
Mm-hmm.
The first ripe fruit. Now, that's all I want. I left. On my left hand. They're left. And they're going to be left. Left for who? The angels to come and light them up. Just like Sodom and Gomorrah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this city is spiritually being called Sodom in Egypt. Why Sodom? Because a whole bunch of homosexuality going on and wickedness, abominable things going on this planet, just like Sodom and Gomorrah. Gomorrah and Gomorrah. Gomorrah. The rest is pronounced
Mm-hmm.
just like Espanol.
Mm-hmm.
Ro, ro, like Espanol. Aprendiendo español para mi español es muy bueno. Right? Muy bueno. Para ayudarme, por favor. ¿Tú comprendes? Sí, tú comprendes. Me llama Yokoshimiya.
Mm-hmm.
¿Cómo se llama? Yo no sé. It's me. We gave them the language. I wrote in several different languages and wrote to the president of those countries with my hand. That way they'll know it's not phony, it's not false. Go ask Kim. Jong-un. One you can't ask because they shot him and killed him
Yeah.
of China.
Japan.
It was parents? See, you may have fun with it and laughing, but in the letter that I wrote him, I told him if you don't help me, he's going to die. I got a copy of it. And what happened? He died. See, it came out of my mouth. If it come out of my mouth, can you see these words coming out of my mouth? Can you understand these words coming out of my mouth? If it come out of my mouth, they shall not return to me void. Isaiah 55:11. I told you I left California in August of last year, the 28th, and said, after I leave, I'm leaving hell behind. Go check YouTube. Go call someone in California and say, how you doing today? That's if the phone is being able to be answered. You have it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Verse 27.
We'll read it.
Verse 27, John
Yeah.
5:27.
What?
And have given him authority to
Read, go first to 20. Read verse 26.
verse 26.
Yeah.
Quote, for as the Father have life in himself,
Mm-hmm.
so have he given to the Son to have life in himself.
That means the Son's still living and the Father's still living. But they think those who have been misled by these false people, wicked ones of Judah, they have them believing that my Father is the same as the Son. Even if he told them so in English on their level. He came and not realizing that he also said that the one coming was prophesying about the one to come, that he too must come into the knowledge of Yahweh. You're going to hear it in a minute. He must come into the knowledge of Yahweh. Why? Because Yahweh didn't exist back then. That's why today he had to come into the knowledge of Yahweh. Why? Because they're going to take the tetragrammaton that's ancient. The tetragrammaton is ancient. Yo, 3 Hebrew characters, 3. Hebrew is infinity. Hebrew comes from infinity. Hebrew characters, not letters, symbols. There's some symbols that you don't have here that are on our planet in the ships. You don't know what they mean. You only have 22 that you're still trying to study and learn. We will have some symbols that you will never know what they mean. And someone from Phoenicia took 3 of those, Yod, Hey, Wab, and created the tetragrammaton. We did not create the tetragrammaton. They did. So they took Yod, Hey, Wab, took Hey twice, and came with Yod, Hey, Wab, Hey in the Phoenician hieroglyphics. And you were led to believe that's God's ineffable name. It is not. You don't know his name. Only the Son knows his name and reveal it to whom he will. And then England came along after the crucifixion and came with Yahweh. Why? Because they're not to pronounce Yod, Hey, Wab, Hey. They're not to say that. It wasn't for them to say. So they came with their own God's name that they go in church and say today. Yahweh. Since England took Judah in bondage, and Judah was raised in English under the English slave master, the master. Since Judah was raised, bought in bondage and slavery, and taken by the English people and taught English, then my father came back to an English-speaking tribe of people and came on their level, descended down on their level, born from among them, and say Yahweh, so he can relate to them and wake them up under Yahweh. And then after they wake up and go wash their face in the sink, or shower, then he brought with them Yod, Hey, Wav, Hey. And that's how we put it on the temple. When we first moved in the temple. When we first moved in the temple, right here, 62nd Street, we put Yahweh. And under Yahweh, we put the Star of David. We were wearing the Star of David around our necks. We had T-shirts, Israel, Star of David, 1979. I was there. Yeah, those who are saying, I have never seen him before. I was there. I ain't seen you before either. I never saw him. Where you come from? Who is this? That's because my father sent me away on another island, like as he taught me secrets. He sent me to Crete in the Middle East, a Greek island, Crete, that was by another nation. And he did the same thing this time. He sent me away to another island by the Europeans called British. They had an island for the British slaves. You know it today as the Bahamas.
Mhm.
That's why you don't know me. You never see. It said you want. I'm gonna show you that. It's the word. Say you don't know. Say they don't know him, but you know him. You'll be with him. He'll be with you.
Right.
Finish that first. Finish that and then show them that. What?
Verse 27.
27. We 26 over again.
Verse 26, quote, "For as the Father have life in himself,
Mm-hmm.
so have he given to the Son to have life in himself."
Right. And what?
Verse 27, "And have given him authority to execute
Wait.
judgment."
What? The Father gave the Father authority to execute judgment.
And have given
Wait, no. The Son gave the Father authority to execute judgment.
I ain't what that reads right there.
See, I'm not looking at the Bible. I am relying on you because I have it to my back. I don't have my Bible open. So I'm relying on you as these other people who would listen to your voice, as that said they would in Revelation, the voice of another angel, to hear his voice. You will not see his face, but you hear as all eyes will be on me. And you're saying now that the Son gave the Father authority to execute judgment?
I didn't say that.
But you have to say that. But you must say that. You must say that because those who say he's Yahweh ben Yahweh the Son, then the Son must have given the Father judgment because he's the Son. They don't believe he's the Father. So they say he's the Son, but where is he?
Right. Yeah, right. That's the key. Right.
Where is he since May 7, 2007? Somewhere in the book it says somebody would become the spirit of truth.
Right.
Not truth. My Father is the truth. He put in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bible did not say the spirit of truth. I can take you to Zechariah and show you it says not by might nor by power, but by my spirit. In chapter 4 of Zechariah. Somewhere around verse 6. You can make a note of that and write it down. I speak the truth. See, I speak the truth. Read 27. Okay, I'm not going to interrupt you. You read what it says.
Verse 27, quote,
Mm-hmm.
"And have given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man."
Good gracious. The Son of God.
Son of Man.
He's the Son of Man.
Yeah.
Is that the same Son of Man that's all throughout the book called Ezekiel?
I believe.
So I mean, this man must be God.
Gotta be God. Yeah.
As so is none.
Mm-hmm.
So none is also God. So you got man who's God and none who's God. That's how Yahshua became the son of none. And now he's the son of man. You also have the son of God.
Right.
Wow. Huh? Read verse 28. I mean 28. If 26 and 27 say that, what does 28 say?
Verse 28, quote,
Yeah.
"Marvel not at this."
What? Here we are marveling. So we best do what the Bible say. The Bible say, marvel not at this. Why?
For the hour is coming.
What? And what? Don't say it now is. Don't say that. The hour is coming and what?
In the which all that are in the graves shall hear his voice.
Hear his voice? And not see his face?
Hear his voice.
Hear his voice. Look how best you ought to even see the face. I wonder, this is in some Bibles in a red print. Now, see, you don't know what that means. Only the Son can tell you, explain that parable. That's a parable. So in some Bibles, it's red print. So do you know who is speaking here? The Son,
Mm-hmm.
the one whom the churches and Christians over 3 billion in the country. Well, actually, on the planet, 3 billion on the
It's all
planet.
red print.
It's all red print. That means the Christ was speaking there. Hmm?
Yeah.
The one they call Jesus from Cuba, from Spain. He was speaking.
Mhm.
So read 28 again. See, I'm about to reveal another mystery and a secret. And ain't nothing they can do about it this time.
Yeah.
Read what?
Marvel not at this,
Mm-hmm.
for the hour is coming,
It's coming.
in the which all that are in the graves shall hear his voice.
Right. That means those who are in the grave got to be dead. Not those who are with me.
Hmm.
You are not in the grave.
Right.
You with me. But those who are in the grave who want to stay dead, the only thing to listen to is now his voice because he's not here in the flesh.
Mm.
Videos. In a moment, as we play it, is his voice. You're not going to even see his face. The Christ knew that was going to happen today. That's why he put it there then so they can record it, write it down, and I can manifest it.
Mhm.
Read verse 29.
Verse 29.
What?
And shall come forth
Uh-huh.
they that have done good unto the resurrection of life.
Look at this. Those who are going to be dead going to stay dead, but those who are going to be resurrected will come into the resurrection and stay here with life and be good.
Mhm.
If you have any kind of, if you can go to Walmart, although Walmart is closing some stores. So you better catch some of these stores at Walmart before they close up and see if they have any common sense on sale and go buy something and get to Miami. Or go online, go to Amazon, see if they have what they call common sense and get some, buy them in a package in a bulk and share them with your family and give them some common sense. Even look for some, buy one, get one free. Common sense and get to Miami. I'm telling you. Should have been with me now to observe the feast of leavened bread. Why? Because the kingdom of what they said heaven is like a woman who had 3 measures of meal when the whole was leavened. Or what? Of heaven, when the whole was leavened. Not a whole is. Now, go to verse 43. And I guarantee you, do you still have your, I know you may have clicked on to read the Bible, the whole chapter.
Mhm.
That's what you did. You got to go back to the top and you got to click Strong's. You got to click the box of Strong's so it can bring about the numbers of the reference next to each word. Right?
Mhm.
And then you go down to 43 and you should come up with my. Next to my, you should see a Greek reference there. I believe it begin with a 300 series or something. Chapter 5, Matthew, John chapter 5, and verse 43. Let me reveal this secret. Here's another secret after 2,000 years. You find it? Read verse 43. You speaking for me.
John 5:43, quote,
Mm-hmm.
I am come in my Father's name, and ye receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him ye will receive. End quote.
Is that true or not?
Definitely true.
Where'd you leave it? Why you leave? What are you looking for?
Yeah.
Huh?
Back on it. Took out the reference, but now we see it right here.
Because I want you to keep the same verse and have all the references and go next to the reference next to mine.
Yeah.
There's a reference next to mine, right?
Right.
What is it? G what?
G3450.
Then I tell you to be in the 3,000 series through?
Mhm.
Now click on it and let the Greeks reveal to you what they hid that's not the Old Testament. but it comes from the Old Testament.
Mm.
And somewhere in there, you should see that my, in parentheses, is of me or of something. It's
Yeah.
of me.
Of me.
It's of me. It's of.
Mm-hmm.
So my is of me,
Yeah.
not mine. That means not mine. It's not. It's of. So when I say I come in my, they say I said my father's name. I come of me, of my father's, of me.
Mm.
I come of me.
Mm.
Well, what's of me? The name he gave me.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I came in the name that my father gave me. It's of him. It's of him. Why? Because he gave it to me. I stood before him and he called me that. Even before the beginning, he called me that. He actually called me the name I have now. You see on my forehead. That's my name. No one knew.
Right.
Yokashimium.
Yeah.
No, and see how it ends with Mem Sophia at the end?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because this is the end. The first and the last.
Yeah.
Right? So I am come in my name, me. Yokashimium, the name my father gave me. I didn't name myself. If I named myself, then I could also create myself. My father is the only one who's self-luminous, self-created, right? Self-carnate. Then he brought all of us with him, but I came before you did. Adam. I'm also known in the Bible as Adam. Now that's confirmed in Luke chapter 3 and verse 38. But go backwards. Go from 23 to 38. That's backwards. Going back to Adam. Right?
Yeah.
And then it says, if another shall come his own name, huh? And they did that because my arm came his own name. He's the another.
Wow.
Oh, you never knew that. That's who I was speaking of back then. Another. Who? He said also John the Baptist. And they received him. Are they not receiving my Father today?
Yeah.
Him you will receive. Why? Because he comes his own name, who you thought was Yahweh. And that's his own name too, because he created it. You didn't know what that meant. Only the Christ can reveal that. Why? You said it.
That's another.
You know, I know you didn't think that meant somebody else coming like the Jake's man or whoever these people are, Aldwell or Boswell, Joel or whoever these people are. That's not their names. They didn't name themselves, and neither the parents who gave them the names named themselves. All those things belong to God, unless they created their own world and language. See, who you thought I was speaking of? If another shall come his own name, I say his own name, not their own. Read that again. They're confused. I didn't say their own. Would you read verse 43 again?
Yeah.
John chapter 5, because I'm not reading it, but I got to hear this again. Somebody, ERR, and belonging to ER, the emergency room. The ERR, the emergency room right now. You do
Matthew 5:43.
Read that. I just got to make sure I hear this time. I can't see it. Read what it says.
I am come in my Father's name,
Okay.
and ye receive me not.
Uh-huh.
If another shall come in his own name.
You said his own name. Why not their own name?
Yes.
I was speaking of another who's come in before me in his own name.
Wow.
Oh, did I not tell you that's chapter 5?
Okay.
Well, did you read from chapter 5 and did you read on that he came after me after chapter 5? He was also in chapter 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to the end of chapter 22 of John. And when would he come after me? Because I was speaking to them then. I knew he was coming after me. He sent me ahead of him, as he always do. You better read Exodus chapter 3 again and see what the angel came before he did and spoke to Moshe. Who you thought I was meant? If another should come in his own name, him you will receive. And they did. Just as I said they would. They think of Yahweh. and think he's the Son of Man. Now, how come they can't receive me? Now, see, here we go. That's John chapter 5. Now we got to go to 14 because here he comes after me in his own name. Here we are in 14. We read some of 14 the other night. We began the other night, the first night, and verse 1. Many mansions, one house. Now, go down to verse 13, because of our schedule, 13. See, I'm laying down the foundation because my Father, that way when I give it to you, then you'll say, oh, that's what he was saying. And I'll say again, be not marveled at this. Verse 13, John chapter 14.
13, quote, and whatsoever ye shall ask in my name.
Here we are again with my name.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to know it didn't say my name, did it? Now I'm here, my name is again of your. That's why I even say my Father's name. I will give it.
And that will I do.
Okay.
That the Father may be glorified in the Son.
Now you see why? Because in my name is the Father's. It's his name. He gave it to me. You think, oh, I'm not going to pray in no Mickey Yahweh name, Mickey name. You don't have to. It's his name. I didn't create that. You're not familiar with, is it 2 Corinthians or wherever it is, where it said he gave him a name higher than all other names? Huh? Philippians 2:9. He gave me a name above all names. Well, how could I give myself a name that's above all names? And since when would the Father give his Son his name? The Father said his name is ineffable, his own name. And he going to turn around and give it to the Son too? Would that not be confusing?
It would be.
And he said he would not share his glory with another. His name is glorious. Not only is it ineffable, it's glorious. The glorious name is powerful. You see how powerful it is there? How powerful it is right there. And what else you have?
Verse 14.
Uh-huh.
If ye shall anything.
Anything. Is anything together or separated?
No, separated.
Anything. Not anything.
No.
Anything. Now you got to study thing to see what that thing is. See the reason why it was separated, because y'all asked for anything. You would. And see, the Florida is anything. You'll find yourself getting in trouble. Oh, Yahweh, oh, Mika Yahweh, or Yokashimia. You said if I ask anything in your name, you'll do it. Well, give me a good lotto ticket. You give me 6 numbers. You say you'll do it. Now, you say you don't lie. You say you don't lie. I read it. There it is right there. You went over it with us. I got to pay my house note, my car note. I got to get my brother out of jail. Yeah, my mama left my daddy. I got to go find. I got to go find him. I need a plane ticket to go find where he at. I need about $50,000. So you said ask anything. Now I want to get a scratch off. See why anything had to be separated? Now you got to study the TH. You got to study first the TH and then the ING. And then you got to do it from right to left. I will do it. And what else it says?
Verse 15.
15.
If ye love me, keep my commandments.
See the if. What's the first word?
If.
That's a big if.
Yes.
If you love me, keep our commandments. And what else? 16.
16.
Quote.
And I will pray the Father.
Now you know who is speaking. It says, I will pray to the Father.
I will pray the Father.
Oh, 2 not in there? You don't even know why that's put like that. You know why it has been transliterated into I would pray the Father? Because when he said that, the Father was already there with him. If he had to pray to the Father would be up there. But I would pray the Father who's right there with him, because the Father that came after he did, like he said he would. If another should come in his own name. So when I go see the Father, I'm going to see the Father, and I pray the Father that he help you. That he do what? Send you another comforter.
Right. Yeah, it is.
And it couldn't be the Father. Then that I had to leave, and who was coming. That's why up in verse 1 I said, let not your heart be troubled. I know how much you heart me. If you heart me, keep my commandments. But why are you saying this? Why you got to start talking like that? Because I got to go prepare a place for you. It's right up in verse 2. And you thought, your souls thought, well, he went over to one place. He went to Jerusalem and Crete. So I guess he, wants to chill out till he come back. Probably be a week or two. Maybe 3 weeks. So, just not your heart be troubled. I'll be back. But, if your heart me, keep my commandments, and my arm will send you another comforter. Right? But you didn't want no other comforter. You mean I got to get used to somebody all over again? And what I did not tell you that, see, I'm going to die, but so are you. Now, wait a minute. I done got in this thing with you. Now you telling me I'm going to die? And my family was telling me, don't go follow you because he's going to kill you. And now you telling me I'm going to die anyway? He going to cause you to drink some flavor aid or something? And go in the aisle with him and y'all lay down and hug. Y'all hug each other while y'all dying? Oh, no. Still got the red right lip from drinking Kool-Aid and flavor aid. See, we got to drink this to go see God. God got his too in the glass, waiting on us. Waiting on us. Cheers. Cheers. Even with the golden cup. The brass cup. I'll pray he sent us another. What? That what? What else it says?
That he may abide with you forever.
Oh, so you're only going to be with us for a little while. So now you're going to bring somebody else, like a substitute teacher, that we got to get used to forever. Now, here comes the trick with the words of a parable in your mind. I was telling you at the same time, but you didn't hear it. Now read verse 17.
Verse 17.
That what?
Even the Spirit of truth.
I was telling you who it is. That what?
Whom the world cannot receive.
Why?
Because it seeth him not.
And then I told you, what?
Neither knoweth him.
But what?
But ye know him.
See, I was telling you, you already know him that's coming, and you think it's another. How could you know another if you going to pray to the Father and send another? I mean, if he said another, you wouldn't know him. Right. But I'm telling you, then you know who he is. You know him. Why? You're looking at him. Right. You're looking. What verse 18 says? What?
Verse 18.
What?
Quote, I will not leave you comfortless.
Why?
I will come to you.
And they didn't ask why? How you going to do that?
Right.
All those things my soul was saying, and you couldn't pick it up. Why? Because you were dead. The dead now is hearing my voice, and thou shall live. Right? That's why. In fact, I could have told you anything. See, and didn't have to separate the any and thing. That's why I put anything together and told you anything. So when I come today, I separate any and thing, and I can tell you, and then I put all there, and I'll tell you all things. Not only that, I'll put teach in front of it and teach you all things. If that's a lie, then verse 26 shouldn't be in there. Read verse 26. I don't see it, but you just read it. Maybe it's there. Read 26.
Yeah, verse 26, quote, But the Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost,
Hmm.
whom the Father will send
In my name. Again, how can he send you another in my name and it's my name?
Right.
I mean, you just got to say in verse 16 another. And here you are 10 verses later saying my name, the Comforter. And what he going to do?
He shall teach you all things.
See the things again? Took out any and now you got all. All things. What?
And bring all things to your remembrance.
Now, how's that going to be? Which means you forgot. Here you are now. I reminded you who you were and who you are, and here you are with me again today, the Comforter, teaching you all things as promised, even in a different language. Right? Because you had no idea there's no such thing as heaven. Neither are you no longer tired, as you thought it was, because now you're tired. All things. Right?
Yeah.
That what?
Whatsoever I have said unto you.
I mean, do you hear it? I said all those things to you that you forgot. Here I am now. You're with me again today in the place I prepared, which is many mansions in one house. And now I'm bringing these things back to your remembrance. That is you. It's also me. How? By revealing the parables. We reveal all the parables and secrets. Because you had no idea what John 5:43 meant before today. Neither the days of Noah. Here you are, the days of Noah. You had no idea that Noah was the only one that I came to get and myself came to get. But bring your house too, because I need them to replenish the earth. You had no idea. You didn't even know that Yod was the shape of a dove. That's why the dove was sent out after the water to go see if there was dry land to bring back a twig. You better look at Yod again and turn it sideways. You got a dove. That's why you see them all around the house.
Yeah.
And why the dove is the most holiest bird. The dove is. The owl is only wise. Why? Because he can see. The owl is the only fowl in existence that have eyes, both eyes in the front of the head, and can turn at a 360-degree angle. So I can see all things to teach you all things in the dark. While it was dark. That's why darkness walked on the face of the deep. And here you are, deep. Well, you even dreaming deep. I was in a deep hole, yeah, because you walking in deep darkness. Now I got to pull you out of that deep darkness, out of the marvelous light with my key of David. Chapter 3. And why I have the keys of hell and of death. And you're being judged right now by Shiloh. Right here. In the last days. As promised. Now you want to hear it? I'm sure it's right there. Go to Revelation. Read from it. Go to Revelation chapter 1. Right? You were dead. You had ears, you heard not. Eyes you had and see not. And many fathers and mothers and the prophets of those days wish they could be able to see what you're saying. They even had eyes and could not see. Either had ears and could not hear what was being said. But here you are with me. As I open up your mind where your ears and your eyes are stored, and you can both see and hear. That's why I took away the SEA. So I can bring you back to the east and remembrance and bring back the SEE. And I got then what I do? What did I do? Huh? I took the 5. I took the 5 away from the 5 days. I took the 5 of hay away from the 5 days. You hear me? Hay is a value. The value of hay is 5. I took away and shortened the 5. I took them away of the 360 of the knowledge. Took them away and put them in front of your ear. So I mean, I took hay and put it in front of your ear, so you no longer EAR. Now you can HEAR and hear every word I'm saying. That's why I did that. HEAR, here. That's where the 5 went, in front of your ears. Not only one, I took both. Remember? Yod, hey, wav, hey. It's 2. Verse 17, I believe it is.
at his feet as dead.
Right. You gonna start at 17, right? Because somebody saw it. They knew who I was then. But they did what?
Fell at his feet as dead.
Right. Not as if it was dead. The one who fell at my feet was dead too. As dead. Didn't know. And read on. What else?
And he laid his right hand upon me,
And said what?
saying unto me,
What?
Fear not,
What?
I am the first and the last.
Mem and Mem so feed to me. I'm the first and only one. My Ab is God. You don't even compare yourself, and nobody can be compared to him.
Right.
He's the architect of the universe. I'm the first one whom he made, formed, and from the right here on the planet, the first begotten of the dead. Right? And I'm also the last. I'm Mem and Mem Sophie. Right? That means what? Mem, why? Because Mem is the gate. To the bottom is the gate where you got to come through. You look at it, you can study Mem. Now, see, Mem is the gate. He's even the doorkeeper. Mem, if you go to Mem, is the doorkeeper. That's why Wab is there. With Nun. Mem are two Hebrew characters connected together. Wab and Nun. And to the bottom is a gate. The son of Nun, Wab, here to protect you coming through the gate. You think it's Mem, the god of water. You're the water. Don't you know that you are the water? These nations and peoples of the water thou seest, the nations are people, the tongues, the waters which thou seest. All right. Well, when you come through the gate, I'm watching you come through the gate, and I'm protecting you at the same time. Wow, the mark of the Hebrew character of protection, 6 feet. The mathematics, right? As you come through the gate, also Nun is there. Who Nun? My father. So you got the son of Nun right there as you come through the gate, because both of us are there. Once the gate is closed, then Mem Sophie come and close the gate, but Wab will still be there protecting it, because now you got a little archcoop front of Wab at the top. Look at it, it's right there. But you don't know that. Only the son of Yahweh can tell you that. I have to come on their level. The one who created it. And Wab is also protecting Smek, son. The only two Hebrew characters that are closed, no beginning. To the bottom of Mem is a gate. I have the key to that gate. And when I take the key out the gate, it turns to Mem Sophie. Read it and see. And what? Read it. Read verse 18.
Verse 18, quote, I am he that liveth and was dead. And behold, I am alive forevermore.
We're back in John chapter 14. Be with you forever. Forevermore. And what?
Amen.
What else?
And have the keys of hell.
You have
and of
plural
death.
keys?
Keys.
Of what? Of what?
Of hell and of death.
Right. Now, what keys are of hell and death? One key was of hell, and the other key is of death. And there's another key of David. Now, the key of hell was with Micah. Micah. Mem Yod Kaf Hey. What's key? What's Kaf? The key. Kaf Yod. What? Kaf Yod is pronounced key. Right? Micah was the key. He had the key of hell. That's what Micah was enduring back then. Hell. Now, what's death? That's Mem Yod Kaf Yod Wav Hey. The full name. Mem Yod Kaf Yod Wav Hey. Why? Because that's who they crucified. Death. We can't put to death. And all those others, when he was here under that name, died with him. Death. Right? Now, the key is, do you want to stay dead?
Nope.
Well, if you don't want to stay dead, now we got to go to chapter 3. And now we use the key of David. So you don't die. Go to chapter 3 and read verse 7. Or actually, read verse 7, and then you read verse 12 and see how you won't die if you come to David. The root and offspring.
Revelation 3:7.
What's it say?
And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, These things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth, and no man shutteth, and shut it, and no man openeth.
Mem Sophie. The key, one key. There's a total of 3 keys. Right? That's for you. There's another key in Revelation chapter 20 that's connected to a chain. Go to that. Revelation chapter 20. Go to that, chapter 20, and look at verse 1. There's another key on it. At each link, an angel is standing by the link. Each link. Revelation chapter 20. Read that. See that. Read verse 1.
Revelation 21, quote.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw an angel come down from heaven.
See, that's one. The same one. And what?
Having the key of the bottomless pit.
Right.
And a great chain in his hand.
Right. There it is. And that chain connects 6,026 years right now. A chain of evilness that he been carrying around with him and making a record of it. Of the bottomless pit. Not from, of the pit. Of. And my father was telling him this. And I've come to judge.
Yeah.
Go to, it says Micah. He told you to go to Micah, but they didn't hear it. Now, Micah, see here, this book, he wrote my heart. He wrote this book. In the beginning of all his books, he put his black and white photo image. Those who are with me here see the photo image. At the bottom of the book is a thesis. So, under his photo image, as you also notice at the bottom of the image, he did not put Yahweh ben Yahweh. Neither did he put Yod Wafe Beit Nusofet Yod Wafe to the bottom of the image. He ordered it that way. All right. Go to YouTube now and play that. This recording was done in the temple, and it would have had to have been done between 1983 and 1986. I was not there. So if it was done between 1982 and 1985, or we were out into our cities, but it looked like it may have been during a feast when he did this. If so, it may have been a feast of weeks or whatever. Because we came back. He sent for us to come back only during the feast of, at the time, Passover, unleavened bread, and the Feast of Tabernacles. We did not return to the temple of Feast of Weeks. So it is also could have been done before, I know it was done before 1990, November 7th. So let's play that at that particular minute mark, and let's let them hear that. And I'm going to go and sit on my craft while you're doing that. When my R speaks, unless he tells me to pause, and I will, you have to focus on him now. Do you have it? Let there be light. See, let there be light. There's going to be so much light that I have to protect my eyes. I'm going to protect my eyes.
You'll find some Arabs. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. And if you make them mad enough, they'll get mad everywhere. They'll turn wild on you everywhere. You may not believe that. I don't care whether you believe it or not. I'm just telling you. Now go to Revelation 1 and check out again that there is a great city of peace that is holy. That means nothing unholy is in it. That also means something else. It means that people that do not want to be holy. Well, let me show you what kind of people that won't be in it. Go to verse 8. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't need to take all this time. Let's let the book do the talking. Verse 8. Let's look and see what kind of people not in this city. Read.
But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
Now, that's what's going on that's going to go on outside of this great city, Holy Jerusalem. Look who will all be your friends if you don't choose me. All your friends will be full of fear. And people that don't follow Yahweh, I guarantee you, if you look around the city, they're scared. Huh? If you think it's just Miami, start traveling. And you'll see, we've been all over the country. See, we've seen the ghetto from coast to coast. And we saw fear everywhere. So all your friends will never stand up for what's good. They have too much fear. So all your friends, if you don't choose Yahweh, your friends will all be unbelievers. You'll have a bunch of unbelieving neighbors. You go to your neighbor and ask him, what you believe in? He say, I'm unbelieving. I don't know how to believe in anything. I'm an unbeliever about everything. Then you'll have some neighbors that are abominable. They believe in abominable acts. AIDS. Some of your neighbors will be switching right on by you. Yes, he will. I mean, her will, or he will, or she will, whatever it is, it'll be switching on by you. Full of AIDS. If you don't follow Yahweh and come into this great city, all your neighbors will be cooking pork, eating worms, fried ants, chocolate-covered roaches, little all that going on. That's who your friends are when you don't follow me. It's the way it is. I bet you can find it just like that. And everybody's a whoremonger. Love to be among whores. What? I bet you can find that in every city across America. That's who your neighbors will be if you don't follow me. And you'll find people who believe in fortune tellers. Yeah, astrologers. Groups. And I don't mean Alex Haley. I mean the how your mojo is working. Believe in voodoo and hoodoo. Yeah, you believe in all the do's and the don'ts. Your neighbors will be people who worship idols. Gods that can't hear, see, feel, move, talk, act, can't do nothing. They just believe in anything. And they're also liars. Huh? I mean, they say, I'm telling the truth this time. Honest, man, I mean, for real now, for real, man, for real. If you're honest and for real, why does a man have to keep on trying to convince you? I mean, man, I ain't kidding, for real this time. I mean, this is for real, man. I mean, I'm telling you the truth, man, brother, for real. I mean, hey, check it out. I'm talking about for real truth, man. I mean, I know I've been a liar all the time before, but see, now, Jack, see, I'm coming clean, boy. I mean, all the dirt behind me. I mean, come on, trust me, man, trust me. If you go for that, you're in the world of trouble, because he's already a liar. So, when you get down to the great city, in verse 10, then none of these kind of people are there. Isn't that something? That none of the wicked kind of folk will be in the great city, Holy Jerusalem, that's going to descend out of heaven from Yahweh. This means that somebody has to come to the earth and let the people know.
Did you hear that? Somebody have to come to the earth and let the people know this is really coming. Not the planet, the earth. So somebody came to the earth to let the earth know that this is really coming.
Mm.
And then the earth took over. As the earth is doing today, letting the people know that this is really coming. As the earth is doing. Let it continue. You got to hear what you could not hear. Now that you're out of your grave. Or graves. Let it continue.
It really is coming from the God of heaven. Now, if you don't believe that, that's okay too, but somebody still has to come and bear witness to the earth that this is genuine.
Did you hear that? Bear witness to the earth, even as he bear witness to the sun. He wrote the book, he titled the book, and they still ignored it. Just like they couldn't hear this. But they're not going to be able to ignore this when we get done with this today.
Right.
They can if they want to. And they're digging their own graves to the second death. They're lighting their own oven. Let it continue.
That's what I'm doing. I'm here to tell you, look up in your dictionary the name Yahweh. Look up in your encyclopedias, look in Bible Interpreter's Dictionary. Look this name up and you'll discover Yahweh is the God of the Bible. Now, it's up to you to search that out. You can't sit back and say, I didn't tell you to look it up. Neither can you say, I told you to believe it because I said it. Here's a name that's written down in books before any of us were born in this present body.
Before when?
Any of us were born in this present body.
Before any of us were born in this present body that he gave you. That means your soul is now in another present body from before. And this is being recorded. He want to make sure they hear this. And they got that. Now the first time your soul been in the body, you and I in another present body with us again today. As we descended down. Let it continue.
That is the ancient God of Israel. And his name is Yahweh. He's the one that has built this city, Yahweh. This great city, holy Jerusalem. Yahweh is the architect. The great architect of the universe built this.
They were there, and some are still here today who were there as he said that. And they didn't hear it. Now, keep in mind that was before he wrote this book, before he wrote this book, How to Overcome the World, and before that was after he wrote this book. So after he wrote this book, but he said that before he wrote this book, and before he wrote this book. But in all three books, this one was revised. It still has the same thing. This is an image with his thesis to the bottom. Now, I'm going to read two things from this book. I'm going to read one. I'm going to read the thesis that's found in all his books, but the thesis in this book is different from those in other books. Because in this book, he put in this book what he came to do. So I'm going to read this. You just heard him say that city that's coming down with God, with Yahweh, was created by Yahweh. How is that? Because he's the architect of the universe. Is that right? I'm going to get it right now. Okay. So now I'm going to, again, see, this is another part of that 120 years of Noah, telling them to stop, repent, and come. And stop your evilness and come back to the one whom he's testified of here. I quote, Shalom Aleichem, period. I am the Grand Master of the Social Lodge, comma, architect of the universe, comma, the blessed and only potentate, comma, and I am the founder of the nation of Yodid Wavhe, comma, superior. I continue and say, I quote, I am come to establish the kingdom of Shalom, which is the most powerful knowledge of peace in existence. Come to establish the kingdom of Shalom, not Shalom. Shalom is a man.
Right.
Shalom is not the peace that you think it is. Shalom is a man. Come from Shalomo. Even Shimshon come from Shalomo. Now let's prove that. Go to your Bible for a moment and go to Micah chapter 5. The same man, his name is Micah, and read verse 5. Somewhere that you can listen to the rest of that because we're going to go to another one. And as you heard during this recording, someone, he said read, and then someone started reading outside of this recording. They edited it and started reading. When you look at this video on your own, you're going to see that that person, when they were reading, they also, when they edited and redacted, they put, where they have the Son of Man, they put rhythm seed, Yod Wafe, Bethos for Yod Wafe. Now, when you read this, we're going to go to Revelation chapter 22. It says, I said, don't add nothing. But they added. Why? And that confuses people. They have them believing that my father, my Ab, is the Son of Man. Read verse 5. Read verse 2, Micah chapter 5, and you can see where the establishment came from, why he came to Miami. Because he came unto me. He came forth unto me. Read verse 2.
Verse 2, quote, Micah chapter 5, verse 2. But thou, Bethlehem, Ephratah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me.
That is Micah speaking. That he is the one whose video you is watching. That's the same he who came forth unto me. M-E. And me. Who what?
That is to be ruler in Israel, whose goings forth have been from of old.
Now Micah speaking that I'm the one to be ruler in Israel, whose going forth have been from of old, from everlasting. My Ab did not come from everlasting. Why? Because he created everlasting. He's infinity. Come from him. He is everlasting. I come from him I'm from everlasting. Now read verse 5 so you can see who Micah is today.
Verse 5, quote, and this man shall be the peace.
That's who peace is. And that follows verse 2, who we come to establish the kingdom of Shalom. And right now you're sitting in this city. The kingdom of Shalom. All right? But they don't believe that. They didn't know that. That's why right now you're going to go to this book. Go to lesson number 5 of this. Go back to YouTube. This comes like in 7 series, 7 parts. Now we're going to take you to part 5 of that book. I wanted someone to go in the back and check with one of the sisters back there and see if they want some of this daily bread. Because by that time when they usually come out.
This sleep is referring to.
Is that okay? Remember, Ab came out of a pearl, right? The womb he came out of. Her name was Pearl, and she's here with us today too, to get some of this daily bread. You may not see her, but she's here. Don't be surprised if she go in the kitchen. Go ahead, play it.
Your mental sleep. The dust refers to the worthlessness and the evilness of this society that you find yourself living in the ghettos, taking drugs and the useless, vain conversations that take place, all the immoral and wicked conversation that takes place among our people living in the ghettos and in the cities of America. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 24 says, "And they that reject the truth shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me, Yahweh. For their worm shall."
Do you hear it?
Against me.
Against
Yahweh.
me,
Yahweh.
Yahweh. That's not in the book,
Mhm.
but he said it. It didn't say me, the Lord. It said me, Yahweh. Okay, let's continue.
Die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh. Everybody, the so-called black man of America, all the nations of the earth despise the so-called black man of America. Have you ever wondered why? Have you ever considered why?
Now you're about to hear my Ob say, here's a special warning to all you false Christians
Mhm.
with a different tone. The false Christians are those who are false people who are following Christ. This is Christ, not the churches. He was speaking to his own people. Even those of Peace Foundation, he's speaking to them.
Mm.
So here's a special warning, right? Okay, let's play. Let's see what book we turn to.
Here is a special warning to all you false Christians in Milcah chapter 5, verses 18 and 19. It says, "Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord Yahweh. To what end is it for you? As you cry for the day of the Lord in your churches, what end is it for you? The day of the Lord Yahweh is darkness. You don't know what you're crying for. Did you know you're crying for darkness?" That's what Micah chapter 5, verses 18.
Did you hear it? Codex. The only one whom he was speaking to that can decipher that and then reveal it and announce it to this planet would be Micah, the one we call Micah. Because we have yet to see a book in the Bible that's called Milcah. Only the false Christians will find that. Go back to your Bible and turn to Amos chapter 5. He said, turn to Milcah, reading from Amos, and then mentions Micah.
Mhm.
Go to Amos chapter 5, read verses 18 and 19. See if it sounds familiar, just like the recording. Read it.
Amos chapter 5, verses 18.
That
and
because
19.
why? Because Amos was doing wickedness too.
Mhm.
They were calling on Amos. They went to Amos instead of coming to Micah. He was talking to the Peace Foundation right there again. Keep going to Amos and let him bite you. Read and see.
Verse 18, quote, "Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness,
Mm-hmm.
as if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him."
That's what you did. So you fed from the lions of the tribe of Judah, and here's a black bear meeting you. And then what?
Or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall.
And a serpent bit you.
Yeah.
All those that were with him, with the bear. Why bear? Because he barely knew anything. His mind was bare. He had no knowledge. And what happened?
And a serpent bit him.
Right. That's it?
That's it.
Okay. And then he said, you don't know what you're crying for. Did you know that you're crying for darkness? That's what Micah chapter 5, verse 18 and 19 says. So you better go to it. Do not go to Micah chapter 5 and read verses 18 and 19. Not realizing it was Midrash. He was giving you a secret hint. He was giving you a hint to go to Micah. keeping in mind that this was recorded by him after he authorized and approved my book and changed the title of it and said, I bear witness of the Son. You're the water.
Mhm.
Now read Micah chapter 5, verse 18, 19. Read it real nice aloud, because there's some people who don't have this and they got to hear it. Isn't that what he was just saying?
Yeah.
Well, first, because we have yet to find Milcah, which is a variation of Micah.
Mhm.
Why? Because they're looking at a variation. So since they rather follow a woman that they're doing today, they gave a Milcah. And look at Milcah holding summits and got people coming to Georgia to hold a feast. You want to go to a woman? Go to the woman.
Yeah. Wow.
Just see if you can find them in the Bible. Go ahead, read verse 18, Micah chapter 5.
Micah chapter 5 stops at verse 15.
It can't. It can't stop at 15 because God said read it. Well, he didn't say read it. He said that's what it says.
Right.
And you know why he said that's what Micah chapter 5, verse 18 and 19. That's what Micah said in Micah chapter 5, 18. Because now Micah is saying it. He said what? That verses 18 and 19 don't exist. And these are those people who want to go to Micah. They don't exist.
Mm.
Because why? Those who want to be with Micah are here with Micah.
Mhm.
Did you hear him say you only want to go to heaven? If you want to go to heaven, you go to heaven. You can listen to the rest of them on their own. Because now we got to go to the last as we conclude this. Go to the recording. What they think they're going to see on Facebook. Nice and loud. And then they can, the time, we went through the time interview, they can look at that and realize that he was speaking of the Christ in himself.
Mhm.
So they can get this as we conclude this. This is a day of unleavened bread. We're approaching another sundown. Is he going to?
It's coming out.
It's coming up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's on. You got to go to the internet. So we lost that internet when we went to YouTube. It's okay. It's supposed to be a smart TV. Now you can see just how smart it is. Couldn't be that smart if Chinese made it or Korea. LG made in Korea, right? They're not so smart. If you go to a link, you just go click on the X, go to a link, put up a new link. There's Facebook right there. Click on it. Now it'll take you right to it. And then you go to the messages and look for the particular alliance. Go to the alliance who sent the recording to us. Shouldn't have. Shouldn't change the format. We want that nice and loud. Still buffering? Go back to the Google search.
Yeah, that was working. Mhm.
This is the time when it's no more time to procrastinate. While you're doing that, I'm going to share with you that there is one more thing that we're going to see on YouTube. I went this morning while you're looking for it. I was told by my this morning to go to the bank and take out all of my money out of the bank. I went to 2 different sources. I took all of my money except for a couple of dollars that I have for some checks I wrote out of the bank this morning. It's in this house. And if you plan on coming to take it, because I mentioned earlier that if you're gonna rob a bank, you must rob the bank exactly like I robbed it. Now I didn't say rob me. Don't be confused. So if you plan on doing that, when you get to the gate, before you come in, read the signs I have posted on my fence, especially when it says no trespass. And it's warning you. I can almost quote it verbatim. If you come on these premises with an intent to commit a crime, make sure you have your ID on your persons for the Miami-Dade County detectives, police detectives, for the proper notification of the next of kin. And that's not a joke. So if you plan on doing that, when you come in here and the minute you say something that's, like robbery, I mean, I'm not going to tell you what kind of arsenal I have in this house. It'll frighten you by me just saying arsenal. Don't forget, I'm former law enforcement. Law enforcement for the devils. When they if they find you, then make sure you have ID in your pocket, your wallet. And after I leave from 25th Street here in Miami, of the headquarters of Miami-Dade Police Department, and try to I don't eat pizza. Or make a report. I'd be down there for hours. If you want pizza, I don't eat pizza, but you can find some fish if you don't mind. I eat fish. And then we start telling war stories. They keep patting me on my back for doing such a wonderful job of saving them more paperwork. And now they don't have to go to court. Oh, by the way, did I tell them they won't be going to court? Yeah, but I had to say that because I had a reason for doing that. You found it? You go in the messages, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And before you play it, so I'm encouraging all of you, and I'm going to show you why. If you have a bank account and you have money in it, get it out. I've been saying that since 2015, 16. Doing the editorial, I said, if you have money, get your money out of the bank. Or did you not know? And my art put it through the mouth of an angel who's sitting in front of me tonight. He's sitting right now today. He put in the mouth, and he said to me yesterday, and I wasn't hearing what he was saying. I was listening, but I didn't hear it. That this past weekend, people were losing, the banks were closing down. And people were in line to get their money out on the weekend, and they wasn't giving them the money. They had no money. The banks closed up, like I said, it was going to happen. It's happening. And they losing all that money that they had. We went. That's why I went out in that journey. You were with me. What happened? I thought you had it. It wasn't loading? Okay. It wasn't loading. Okay, well, that's fine.
Oh, fine.
It is loaded? You got it?
Yeah.
Because we have cell phones. Okay, I see it. Okay, play that. Wait, look at the photo. Look at the photo. I'm in the photo. Now, we played this 119 times. 119 years that Norris would warn the people to stop it. That who you think is coming back as he is from prison is not. So now here's 120 times for 120 years that Noah's telling you stop it. The one you're looking for to come is not coming like you think he is. You're not going to see him anymore. But don't listen to me. Hear it for yourself out of his own mouth. A recording he made in 1992 while he was in custody. Play that.
I made up my mind on last night that I'm going into my secret closet, and I've been walking among you without my holy robe for 12 years. But I'm picking them up and putting them on. And I'm going into the box and take out my starry crown, and I'm putting it on my head. And I'm reaching into the box and picking up my scepter, and it's in my right hand, and I'm going to sit on my holy throne in true holiness. And that's the only way I'm going to walk. And if you ever hope to be in my presence, you will certainly have to be an angel of Yahweh. And that's a fact. Because I'm definitely going to Galilee. And for you who think that's a physical place, you still have a serious problem. You need a new man real bad. You need to get rid of the deceitful lust real bad. Because it's a new mindset where I live, where I'm going, and where you're going to have to meet me. Am I going to get out of here physically? Of course I am. Of course I am. I've made up my mind to do so. And because I've made up my mind to do so, I am. And I know some of you will get so excited, and I may not be there. You see, the real feast is not physical. And none of you will be able to deceive me with a physical feast. In fact, I'm not going to allow an unclean person to fix a meal for me anyway. Some of you think unclean is when you're on the issue. I know. Some of you think unclean means when your hands haven't been washed, your physical clothes are soiled. No, 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 no. The old mindset is unclean. I certainly would not allow him to walk beside me. That's for sure. So what makes you think things are going to be the same when I come out? I'm just not the same man that was arrested November 7th, 1990. I've been here now 14 months, and I'm totally different. I've been transformed, and I have transcended, and I have transfigured right here. And those of you that's been coming out here to see my body, my dead body, yes, I've been slain for you. I've already been slain to you. I have suffered for you. I have fulfilled the word in doing it. And if you think you're just going to come out here and watch my body in this tomb forever, you're sadly mistaken. Terribly mistaken. So I'm coming off the cross, that's a fact. I've just come down. I came down last night. I'm off. I'm already off. And it's only a matter of whatever time decreed that I'm physically leaving here. I can guarantee it's not long. That doesn't mean you'll see me. It certainly doesn't mean that you will see me. If you have some oil in your lamp, you'll be able to see me. If you decide that you want to be holy, you will see me. Because I am not going to allow unholy people to be around me anymore. I am only interested in those who will reflect my light. Because I am self-luminous. And when you master the knowledge of your name, then you too will become self-luminous. But if you don't have the knowledge of your name, you will never be self-luminous. You have walked in my light for 12 long, hard, suffering years on my property. And I'm not coming back to it. Ever. That's over and done. And it's finished. And you can read Matthew chapter 5, verse 8. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see Yahweh. In verse 16, let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father, Yahweh, which is in heaven. So you can't do this without the knowledge of your name and live it. You can't walk in my light anymore. It's over. See, all of you been wearing white because I wore it. Look at how.
I wonder if they heard it this time. They wore white because he wore white. Go back to YouTube for a moment. Did you hear my op say that video that we won't see him no more? You won't see him no more. So what are they looking for? Go back to YouTube and look for in history, yesterday there was a news article, a video of people standing in line at a bank. It says about banks. It has a scroll down, not too far. See it yet? I think you're going too far now. You have to look for up high. Anything there? What about
banking system is safe?
right there? Click on that. Right, the banking. Look for banking system. Click on that for a moment. Take a look.
Let's get to Kayla Tausche. More news, I imagine, out of Washington. Hey, Kayla.
That's it.
Let's get to Kayla Tausche. More news, I imagine, out of Washington. Hey, Kayla.
Hey, Carl. Well, the president was asked whether this effectively means that all depositors in the United States have a backstop. He did not answer that question, but in those remarks earlier this hour, he sought to really drive home that message that is so important to the administration. The taxpayers will bear the president earlier this hour.
All customers who had deposits in these banks can rest assured. I want to rest assured they'll be protected.
You started from the
And they'll
beginning.
have.
That's from the beginning. That may not be the one.
No, not at this point.
It starts in. It's the name of a particular bank.
I know the one that went down the Friday was in California.
It's in California. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. You don't see that? It should be in history. You have my history at the library. You went to the library with history because I saw it last night. Yeah, I preserved it in the history.
No, I think you went too far.
Yeah, too far.
So it's not up.
What you may have to do is go to the search box. And what was it? It was in what was the name of the bank?
California, Silicon Valley.
Okay. See, that's the voice of another angel. Revelation being fulfilled. If you type, if you had the name of the bank, I don't remember the name of the member. I'm not an account holder. Unfortunate for those who are. And they're promising them that they'll get it. That's it.
Here it is, right there. Silicon Valley.
Yeah. Click on that. And he promised you that, just like you're going to see a woman here saying, well, we got to straighten out the Treasurer Secretary of the United States Treasurer. How you going to, that means they're going to straighten out prophecy. They're going to alter and change prophecy that the world is not going to end. Don't you believe the Bible? The Bible tell you the world is going to end. It's not. Don't believe the Bible.
California.
Go ahead. Is that the right one? You make sure you have the right one. Mm-hmm. No. 2 days ago, because do you see one that has a
California regulators have closed down Silicon Valley Bank to protect insured depositors. The State Department of Financial Protection and Innovation says insured depositors will have full access to their deposits no later than Monday morning. SVB Financial Group, parent company of Silicon Valley Bank, reported earlier today investors have been pulling money out of the bank, which resulted in its stock tumbling. The FDIC now taking over. The bank closed by regulators. Banking experts say SVB's issues are unique to the bank. This is not indicative of wider problems within the banking industry. Big banks have significant cash reserves, but those stocks are down anyway. So much so, Secretary of the Treasury Janet Yellen is weighing in on this. She met with the Fed, the FDIC, and the OCC leadership today to discuss SVB. Treasury says Yellen, quote, expressed full confidence in banking regulators to take appropriate actions.
Okay, come out of that one. Look for one feed that may have a red line to the bottom already. If you do, that'll be the one that I saw because they had in that particular feed, they had a whole line of people in line on Saturday at the bank, and it wasn't opening, and they wasn't getting any money out, but they were there trying to get that money out. And I'm just, I knew that I was watching on my library. No one else's.
The collect. Now let's bring in Errol Barnett. He is outside a Silicon Valley Bank location in Santa Clara, California. Errol, good to see you. I know this morning when we spoke a little bit, there were a handful of people lined up waiting for the bank to open. I'm not sure if it's open yet. It's about 8 a.m. there. What are you seeing? What are you hearing from customers?
It's how many hours ago is that? That's like today.
Hey there, Nikki and Anne-Marie. Great to see you both. That's right. Outside the headquarters here in Santa Clara, the line of customers eager to access.
Okay. Never mind that because it should have been in the library. It's maybe overlooked. But I will say this. I don't have to prove it to you. It proves itself. And I said it. This make what? 7 years at least? Yeah, at least since 2016. 7 years I've been telling at that time we called it telestudy, and then we started calling it pre-sessions. And every editorial I say, stock up on your food, stock up on your water, get generators, get your gas masks, right? And if you have money in the bank, get it out. Don't put too much money in the bank because the bank is going to close down your banks. And here we are, 7 years later, looking at it. Anyway, we enjoy our able to grab hold of this knowledge and wisdom that we share with them in our daily leavened bread for this week of leavened bread, the feast of leavened bread, where the whole is leavened and it's a new lump. So you need yourself a new man, like my Ob said in that video, in that recording. Real bad. You define yourself a new man, real bad. With that said, we're going to enjoy ourselves tonight. We won't be coming on live stream. We're going to just enjoy ourselves, and we're going to feast. We're going to eat some leavened bread too, physically. With that said, I pray you stay safe and that you go get some common sense and get to Miami before it's too late. And that's all I have to say. And that includes YouTube.